our area right now, not only tracking the rain that's moving in now, but also the rain that is on the way and any threats for stronger storms and even a flood risk over parts of north and northwest Georgia. A lot to watch tonight as we're tracking some of these showers and possibly even a few thunderstorms that are moving through. Now, overnight tonight, we may have some rumbles of thunder and flashes of lightning, but the severe weather threat really is not really going to move into our area until the early morning hours on Saturday till around lunchtime or a little bit after, when the main part of this system is going to be moving through. You can see here on radar right now, generally light rain. The green color shows the light rain that we have here in our area. At times, there have been a few pockets of moderate rain moving through. As these have been pushing over to the east, we've been seeing the moderate and heavy rain with it kind of tapering down a little bit to more light rain. Now, we do have some spots in far north Georgia there, in parts of Murray County, moving into Gilmer and Fannin counties, a little bit of moderate rain there, and some moderate rain over on the west side, where you can see the yellow colors in Haralson County right along I-20 at the Georgia and Alabama line. A little bit of that moving into western Carroll County, and then more of the moderate rain that is in Cleburne County, Randolph County, out I-20 into Alabama, getting closer to Talladega, the Anniston area, and then down to the south here, we do have a little storm there that has some thunder and lightning. Elsewhere, that's all that we have, light to moderate rain. Most areas are not seeing lightning, but we do have some of this lightning right over here. I'll zoom in a little bit tighter so you can see that. That is south of Randolph County. So here's Peachtree City here, Hogansville, LaGrange. So cross over the line into Alabama. You have Randolph County here. There's Wedowee, Alabama. And then south of Randolph, near Shiloh and Lafayette, this little cluster here, not severe or anything, but that's the first signs or the closest signs to us where we see some thunder and lightning. Then as we widen out, you can see additional lightning though, crossing to the west of 65 between Birmingham, there's Alabaster going down toward Montgomery. We do have a little bit of lightning there, mainly west of 65. There's one lone strike here north and east of Clanton where we have a lightning strike there. And then a little bit more back towards Selma and also Thomaston, Alabama and Demopolis, Alabama, south of Tuscaloosa where we have a little bit more lightning with that too. And all of that is going to continue to feed here into our area. In fact, I'll put the whole thing in motion. We'll widen out a little bit and put this in motion for the past 2 hours. And you'll see how that rain is generally moving up toward the north and to the east. So that's been feeding all of that moisture into our area. And as you can see, there's a lot more to come here. I do think that this lightning that you're seeing near Montgomery and west of Montgomery will most likely start to settle down a little bit, but we're going to keep an eye on this cell to see if it holds together into the southern parts of Randolph County, and we'll hold on to some of that lightning and whether or not that actually makes it into West Georgia. So if it does, that would be pushing into parts of Carroll County, potentially into Heard County a little bit later. But here you see it all in motion with, again, that mainly light rain. Let's focus here on North Georgia, north of I-20. These are the areas that have been seeing rain longer. The rain started there during the afternoon hours and it's been pretty persistent there, even though it's generally been light rain, continuing to move up toward the north and east. But I want you to notice here how that, well, let me focus first on, there's that little bit right there of that more heavy rain. Let's put it into live mode. Let's say moderate to heavy. That is, so here's Dalton, that's Whitfield County. This is Murray County here. And then you have Gilmer and Fannin County. The yellows you see there and some orange and a little bit of red right on the county line right here. It was a little pocket of heavy rain. We don't see any lightning with that. That's moving up toward the north and to the east and will push through areas of Fannin County, also Union County and Towns County. You should be expecting some of that more moderate to heavy rain that'll move into your area too. Also, another little bit of that, let's go back to live mode here. Right there north of Juneau in the northern parts of Dawson County. That's where we've had a little bit of moderate rain there too. And then again, down toward Atlanta, it is mainly light rain here. And we were watching that rain during our 5 o'clock newscast really just envelop the city of Atlanta. At first, when we started our 5 o'clock newscast, we weren't seeing any rain at all. And then during that hour, we were watching that rain just kind of close in on the city of Atlanta. And now we do have a good bit of it over us now. Back over into West Georgia, here you see in Bremen, They're in Haralson County. So this is I-20 going through Douglas County. So Atlanta's way over here. So taking I-20 west through Douglas County, there's Villa Rica. The northern parts of Carroll right here where you see that yellow. Also here in Haralson County, right along I-20 and north of that from Bremen to Buchanan, where we have some moderate rain coming down. Also south of I-20 right here in the far western parts of Carroll County, moderate rain there. That's the leading edge of that moderate rain, and that's going to keep pushing on through. And then let me take you back over to Randolph County and Cleburne County. So this is Cleburne County here with Fruithurst. That's I-20 moving through there. Randolph is down here where you see Wedowee. You're getting into that heavier rain, as well as Anniston, Jacksonville, Alabama, toward Talladega, as I showed you a little while ago, and then down toward south of Daviston. That's where we have that lightning strike. We had a couple of lightning strikes there a minute ago, 2 or 3. Now it is down to 1. So I really think that that will weaken as the system continues moving on over to the east and getting a little bit closer to us. So I just want everybody to be prepared. Tonight is going to be a rather rainy night. Look out to the west. Well, let me show you another graphic here where you can see how this feeds all the way back through Alabama. You know, I was showing you the stuff around Montgomery, and then west of 85 or west of 65, that's where we're seeing more of this lightning here, a little more instability there with that lightning, and then heavier rain back in Mississippi, parts of Arkansas, Louisiana, and notice how that motion is taking this and moving it all up toward us. So if you're focusing on this lightning here and wondering, okay, is that going to make it here too? Just know that that is moving into a different environment as it pushes into Georgia. Not as much instability there. We may have some rumbles of thunder and flashes of lightning in Georgia as this moves in tonight, but I don't think we'll see as much as what they're seeing there west of Montgomery. Again, they've had some warmer air there today too. And then this is moving into our area as we have, you know, we've already had the heat of the day. Now temperatures are pretty much holding steady. Will be generally there in low and mid 60s pretty much all evening long, but I really just don't think we're going to see a lot of that lightning holding together as it moves in. So just don't be surprised if you hear rumbles of thunder, see flashes of lightning out there later on tonight, but I don't think we'll see as much as what they're having back into parts of Alabama. So all of this is going to continue moving on into our area. So we do have an 11 Alive weather impact alert in effect. We were telling you about that yesterday. It is in effect now. It will be in effect through the afternoon hours on Saturday. We'll probably let this expire at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when the worst of the rain is going to be moving out, and we'll begin to see these showers tapering off and moving away from us. But between now and Saturday afternoon, that's the time frame when you're going to be seeing some of these pockets of heavy rain at times. Also the potential for some storms that'll be moving through. So we want you to stay weather aware. That's why we are doing these extended weather updates for you throughout the evening here on 11 Alive Plus. Nicole Hartford is in early tomorrow morning. She'll also be doing extended weather updates on 11 Alive Plus, as well as our newscast in the Saturday morning show during that time frame. And then we'll continue these updates at least through when we see the threat level go down and that rain starting to taper off later on in those afternoon hours. So here's a look at that flood watch. I want to show this to you full screen so you can get a better look at this, where excuse me, we have a little bit of an expansion to that flood watch where a couple of more counties have been added in there. Cobb County is now part of this watch. It did cut off at Cherokee County and Bartow County and down toward Polk. But the Weather Service has added Haralson County, they have added also Paulding County, and they have added Cobb County into this flood watch, and that goes up toward Dawson County, Lumpkin County, White County, that line up to the north. That's where we have this flood watch in effect. It's in these areas where we think we're going to see those highest rainfall amounts. Remember, they have already had rain longer than we have had here in Metro Atlanta. And even though it's been relatively light, still they're seeing more of that rain, more of a time frame for that rain that's able to pile up a little bit more. So in these spots, we think that they could see anywhere between 2 and 3 inches of rain here as the system moves through tonight and then through the day tomorrow. And we may even see some localized areas, especially in some mountainous regions there, that could pick up maybe even up to 4 inches. So what you have to watch are those flood-prone areas, the low-lying areas where we typically see water collecting. That's where we could see some of these areas of isolated flooding. Now, I don't think this is going to be a widespread flooding event where everybody just can't drive anywhere. Just know it's going to be some isolated spots of flooding that we're going to have to keep an eye on. This is a live look right now. This is our tower cam there at Truist Park. I'll step out so you can see this a little bit better, where we have the clouds and the slightly lower visibility because of some of that rain, light rain that's coming down here now. Newnan, down to the south of us, you have some rain too. You can see some of the raindrops on the lens. The roads are wet there around the courthouse, but again, not particularly heavy rain coming down there right now. And then this is our tower cam at Arizona Avenue at DeKalb County. Right on the DeKalb and Fulton County line, looking back toward the city of Atlanta. The clouds, slightly lower visibility where we do have some of that light rain that's coming down. That just looks like a pretty soggy evening out there right now too. Here is a look at where we're thinking the better chances of seeing severe weather for the rest of the evening hours and even overnight too. When the Storm Prediction Center issues these outlooks, I know it says Friday there, and that is for tonight, but it also goes through 7 in the morning. So we're not overly concerned about any type of severe weather happening during the overnight hours. We think that would mainly be back into Alabama, where they have a much of the area in a level 1 risk, and then level 2 in parts of central and western Alabama, going back into Mississippi and also into Louisiana. You see that level 1 risk just kind of knocking on the door there in West Georgia. It kind of overlaps a little bit into Cleburne and Randolph County, and then coming over into a little bit of West Georgia there at Carroll, Western Haralson, and Western Polk County. But that's just kind of how they're drawing the line there. It doesn't automatically have to stop there at the state line. Now, going into Saturday, though, that's when the main system is going to be pushing through our area, and that's the part that we have to watch for any type of severe weather that could be moving through. The main threats would be just some isolated spots where we have maybe some damaging wind. There's a low risk for an isolated spin-up tornado. I really don't think we would see anything like that, not overly concerned about it, but that threat is also not zero. So we just have to be aware and prepared for that. And you see how the level 2 risk comes into Carroll County, also into Heard County, Troup County, parts of Meriwether County, parts of Coweta County here. Those areas and back into Alabama is where there's that little better chance for some of those isolated or more scattered stronger storms. I think any stronger storms here would be more isolated that we'll have to keep an eye on, but we're in that level 1 risk. So the main threats we're watching for: pockets of heavy rain, and again, those areas of North Georgia that could see some flooding, isolated flooding. Also, strong winds are possible. Don't think it'd be widespread, but in order to have a severe thunderstorm warning, winds would have to be 57, 58 miles an hour or greater, or hail in the size of 1 inch in diameter. The hail risk is low. We're not worried about that. So I'm thinking that some of these storms would mostly be sub-severe. There might be a few severe thunderstorm warnings, but we may see some winds 40, 45, 50 miles an hour with some of the storms that roll through tomorrow. There's that tornado risk also very low. We don't have a lot of instability here, but we do have some shear within our atmosphere. So that's why we just kind of have to keep an eye on that just in case we see anything developing. Our high today, 70 degrees, low this morning, 58. That's way above where we should be for this time of year. Right now, we are at 66, and we still have some heat that's over us right now. We got up to 70 this afternoon. We've only dropped 4 degrees since the sun went down. Some lower 60s like in Peachtree City. Canton is at 59, 58 in Blairsville and Clayton, but not a huge range of temperatures. And we're thinking these temperatures are going to pretty much hold like this through the rest of the overnight hours of the morning. You see there a lot of 60s, maybe even going up a little bit at 1 and 3 in the morning, and then to 63 here in the morning with some of those showers. And again, the potential for a little bit of thunder and lightning too. So here's the time frame of what we're watching. Tonight, we have those showers now over North Georgia, around Metro Atlanta, over to the west of us. Through the evening, maybe a couple of these get a little heavier up in, to the north of Atlanta. Then overnight, not a lot of action here, just maybe some light rain here and there. But then this is the main part of the system coming in later on tonight, or in the morning actually. This is at 7 in the morning in northwest Georgia, from Rome up toward Dade, Walker County, over toward Gilmer, Fannin counties. That's where we'll have those heavier showers, maybe some thunder and lightning with that. Then let's say generally between 10 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon is where we're watching this main part move through Metro Atlanta. This is at noon, where we see that main part coming through, still those pockets of moderate to heavy rain, maybe a little bit of thunder and lightning with this part too. And then once we get past about 2, 3 o'clock, the back edge of that rain is going to be moving out, and we're going to see it just slowly tapering off. It's not going to end immediately. It'll just slowly taper off here. And by 5 o'clock, still a few showers to the south and east of us, but everything moves away, and then we get a little shock to your system here coming in on Sunday, as we have that northwest flow that's going to be pushing in, and that is going to give us some much colder air in here for Sunday. The sunshine returns, but it's not really going to warm up that much. We're just going to see those winds kicking up, and temperatures go from around 69 to near 70 degrees on Saturday to only around 48 degrees for a high temperature here on Sunday. And then in your 7-day outlook, I want you to see what happens on Monday morning. We're talking about lows near 29 and highs near 49. And then Tuesday morning, back to below freezing at 31 with a high of 55. Mid-50s again on Wednesday. And then another surge of cooler air comes in Thursday. 30% chance for showers with that next system coming in, but that takes us back to those temperatures that are going to be in the mid and even some upper 40s here going into Thursday as well as on Friday. So I'm going to take a little break. What we're going to do right now, we're going to put the radar maps back up for you. Between now and 8:30. I'm going to come back on at 8:30. We'll just walk you through, again, what we're watching out there with this system and the rain and any changes that we have seen just really within the 15-minute period since we were last showing that to you. And we'll have additional updates here with you during the evening hours tonight, just to kind of walk you through not only what's happening now, but what to expect going through the morning hours and afternoon hours tomorrow too. So stay with us. We'll take you to radar right now. We'll have much more for you coming up in a little bit less than 15 minutes at 8:30. Good evening. We are back. It is now 8:30. We just did an extended weather update for you from 8 to just after 8:15. I wanted to come back on with you here at the bottom of the hour. We're going to do another one of these extended outlooks at 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, and of course our newscast tonight at 11 o'clock as well, as we're tracking the rain that is moving in. Now, this isn't right now a life-threatening event or anything. We're not coming on because this is widespread severe, but we're coming on just because we want to be available to you, as we know you're hungry for weather information, as you're hearing the rain outside your house right now, and knowing that this rain may even get a little bit heavier during the overnight hours tonight. And then during the day tomorrow, the main front moves through with the line of heavier showers and the potential for some storms here during the day tomorrow. Now, we're also not even expecting that tomorrow to be a widespread severe weather event, but there is the chance tomorrow that a few of those storms could turn strong. We're going to break all of that down for you here coming up in just a little bit. But as of right now, you can see on radar, there's a lot of rain coming down. Now, it's generally the green color showing the light rain that we have. We do have more light rain coming down than we do moderate and heavy rain. Most of the moderate and heavy rain is over in West Georgia here. Some of that getting closer to Metro Atlanta though now, so I expect to see late evening, overnight, some of these moderate showers that'll be pushing through our area. And then it gets a little heavier also back into parts of Alabama too. Now, the good news with this is that we're not really seeing any thunder and lightning. We don't have any strong winds with this right now. This is just a good rain that is moving in, and it's all generally light with a few of those moderate showers too. I want to put this into motion though so you can see here how this is pushing through. You know, North Georgia had rain earlier than we did here in Metro Atlanta. So they've been dealing with some rain collecting there for a little bit longer than we have here in Atlanta. And even though it's mainly light, there have been a few pockets of moderate to heavy rain at times. But notice how as this moves up to the north and east, we're seeing a lot of the yellows and oranges. In fact, at 8 o'clock, when we did this update, we zoomed in to that rain there that was in parts of Murray County, Fannin and Gilmer County. Now that's weakened somewhat as it's moving up into northeast Georgia and crossing over the line into North Carolina, up near Clay County, North Carolina there too. So the trend has been, as this more moderate rain over to the west of us moves up to the north and east, it weakens a little bit. But now we're seeing some of these showers in West Georgia, the moderate rain that we have there, that is holding together here just a little bit. Let me take you in just a little bit tighter to that so you can see even some heavy rain back into Anniston, Talladega, a little bit of red there, which indicates more of the heavy rain coming in. That's along I-20 over into Alabama, again, between Anniston and Talladega, getting closer to Sylacauga, Alexander City. And you see, for those of you who live, some of our viewers live over in Randolph County and also actually Cleburne County and Randolph County, you're getting some moderate rain there too. That is crossing over the line into West Georgia. We're seeing some of that in Polk County, Carroll County, Heard County, and some heavier rain down around LaGrange and just to the south of LaGrange that is moving through too. And this is also going to be pushing closer to Atlanta over the next few hours. It may show signs of weakening with that, but just don't be surprised if we see a few more of those heavier showers. I want to show you this. If you were watching us tonight at 8 o'clock, we focused in on, you see this little cell right there. You see that? That was one little cell that just produced a little bit of lightning for a short period. And I told you we would keep our eye on that to see how it was going to act as it goes up to the north and east. And right there, it's up near Roanoke right now, but it's not as heavy as it was, and we don't have any more lightning in association with it. But earlier, that was the closest lightning that we had to us. Now, this one is looking a little more impressive down here near LaGrange, moving into, that's in southern parts of Troup County. That's going to be moving into Meriwether County. And when I say impressive, I mean just with heavier rain. We don't see any lightning signal or lightning with that or any signals of any strong winds, but it is a good rain coming down right there just south of LaGrange, right there along 85 and 185. Let me put this into live mode. We'll go in just a little bit tighter there. This is what I was talking about, 185 right here. That goes from 85 down toward Columbus. Then you have 85 here going south of LaGrange. That goes over into Alabama as you get closer to the Auburn area. But there's that heavy rain that's moving through. That's going to push into parts of Meriwether County here in just a little bit. That's north of Pine Mountain. So just on the south side, expect that cell to have some heavy rain with it. And then let me take you back over into Alabama. And you see all of this more moderate rain that goes back, as I mentioned, Sylacauga. Now near Titus, Alabama, that's getting closer to 65. Here's Montgomery at the bottom of your screen. I think you can see that right there at the bottom of your screen. North of that to Wetumpka to Titus, that's where we have some lightning. Also a little bit more of this lightning that goes back west of Montgomery towards Selma, Thomaston, Alabama, not Thomaston, Georgia, Thomasville, Camden. So you see that lightning there, that's south of Demopolis. That's still pushing up toward the north and east, and we'll see how that holds together. We've got this here near Eclectic that we just showed you just a second ago there, north of Montgomery. So there is some lightning in Alabama, but even with that, we don't have any warnings here with that. No severe weather with that lightning that's moving through, no strong winds in association with it. So back here closer to home, here's a look, and I'll zoom in closer to Atlanta. And you see that we're dealing with mainly just the light rain that continues to move through, pretty much covering all of us here inside the perimeter, around the perimeter, over into Cobb County, over into Gwinnett County, DeKalb County, down to the south of us in Clayton County, Northern Henry County, Fayette County, getting in on all that rain. But there's the more moderate stuff that is creeping closer to the city. There's the west end of the perimeter here. Here you see Dallas and Paulding County, down toward Villa Rica. They're at the northern parts of Carroll and into Douglas, right along I-20. And then even south of I-20 toward Carrollton, Bowden, you've got some moderate rain. Bremen, north of I-20, there in Haralson County. So some good rain coming there now, and that's going to inch just a little bit closer to the metro Atlanta area. So let me put this into motion again so you can just get a general feel of that motion there of these showers that are moving up toward the north and east. And you know, it's been roughly along the I-85 corridor here, so it's going to keep moving north and east, but then also it trends a little bit more to the east as well. So this will be around our area for the next few hours, and then overnight toward tomorrow morning we may get a little bit of a break before the main part of the system moves in, and that's the part that'll have the potential for some stronger storms here with it. So let me widen out and show you, and I've just kind of switched sources there so you can see the satellite imagery too. We've got clouds, plenty of it, and then there's the moisture over us stretching back into Alabama. There's the lightning there from Montgomery westward. Not as much lightning back toward the west, but look over here into Louisiana. Couple of tornado warnings there. That's north of Alexandria. I'll take you over there so we can see what we're talking about. That's right along Interstate 20 between Jackson and Monroe, Louisiana, where you see that near Winnsboro. Couple of tornado warnings. So there's a cell there that has been demonstrating some rotation. So they've issued that tornado warning there. But again, I really think that the ingredients are higher or greater over to the south and west of us for a severe weather threat compared to what we have here in the Atlanta area. So let's break down what we've got going on right now with this weather impact alert that we do have in effect for tonight and through the daytime hours tomorrow. We'll most likely allow this to expire later in the afternoon on Saturday as we see the rain beginning to taper off and move out, and we'll also see any threat for any severe weather that's going to be moving away and out of our area. So this is the main thing that we're going to be watching for. We have the rain and the storms that are pushing through right now. And when I say storm, we don't have any lightning yet, but there is the potential tonight during the overnight hours before we get that little break in the morning that we can see a little thunder and lightning with some of these, like what I just showed you over there in Alabama. So the rain is arriving now, moving through. We have the storm risk. This is a low-level severe weather risk, and I'll show you that on the maps here in just a minute here. But we do have a low storm risk. We might have a few isolated stronger storms that could have some strong winds with them. And then another threat will be these pockets of heavy rain, especially in north and northwest Georgia, that could cause some areas of flooding. We don't think it's going to be widespread flooding, but just some isolated spots. Those flood-prone areas that tend to see rising water first is where we may see some of this flooding occurring. Again, nothing really widespread, but it does not include Atlanta. What I want you to notice, though, is that the National Weather Service added a few counties into this flood watch. Earlier, it was Polk County, Bartow County, Cherokee County, Dawson, Lumpkin, White County up toward the north and west. Well, now the Weather Service has added in Haralson County, Paulding County, and Cobb County to the mix. Cherokee County was already in it. So just a few counties have been added into that, really along I-20 and northward there. And then, these counties that I mentioned earlier and that line up to the north. Those are the spots that could get 2 to 3 inches of rain between now and tomorrow afternoon. There may be even some isolated spots that pick up 4 inches of rain, and that would cause some minor or isolated flooding here in some of those areas. Live look right now, you can just see the low clouds, slightly lower visibility with some of the light rain that's coming down right now at Truist Park. Here we go in Rome, south and west of the city, some of the raindrops on the Lynn. It's nothing really heavy, just a little bit of light rain, a few of the raindrops around. Then, of course, our tower cam there at Arizona Avenue, right on the DeKalb-Fulton County line, looking westward back toward the city. Beautiful skyline that we have here. Of course, Peach Bowl's going on right now in town. Our guests, though, are having to deal with this wet, soggy weather that we have. But still, beautiful skyline out there with some of those light rain showers around. We're not really concerned about a big-time severe weather risk overnight. When the Storm Prediction Center issues these advisories or issues these convective outlooks is what they're called, the Friday outlook, or this is the day one outlook, really goes through 7 o'clock in the morning. So even though this says Friday on the map, it covers the overnight hours too. And it looks like any severe would be mainly over to the west of us. Now, level 2 risk back into Alabama. This is that area that I was showing you where we have the lightning. But they don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings there, but a few could develop. So we'll keep an eye on that. Level 1 for North Alabama, and that level 1 risk pretty much stops right at the Georgia-Alabama line. So again, not overly concerned about a big-time severe weather risk here. Cleburne, Randolph County, you might get a couple of isolated stronger storms. It's going to be tomorrow when the main system pushes through that we have a level 1 of 5 risk here for really most of our area. But look down south and west of us, right near the Georgia line here, through parts of southern Carroll, Heard County, Troup County, and then down toward Augusta, also including western Meriwether County and a little bit of Coweta County. There's that level 2 risk. Any area that has severe weather, I think the chances will be a little bit better south and west of us. But again, in metro Atlanta and most of North Georgia, we have that level 1 risk, meaning there could be a few isolated stronger storms. And the main threats that we would have with that system would be heavy rain and strong winds. The tornado risk is very low. The hail risk is also very low, but it's also not a zero risk there too. We're keeping an eye on temperatures as it's still pretty mild. We got up to 70 degrees for a high today. We're still in the mid 60s. We still have plenty of warm air for these storms to work with, but we think these temperatures are pretty much going to hold steady through the rest of the evening hours. We're generally going to hold there in the 60s, not really seeing them dive down into the 40s or anything or go up that much. They might go up a degree or two at 1 or 3 in the morning when some of this rain moves through, and again, a little bit of that lightning. And then a bit of a break, maybe 4, 5, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, but then additional rain and the storm risk coming in mid-morning too. So here's the forecast track of what we're watching with this rain that's over us now, continuing to feed on through here. And then there you see 7 o'clock in the morning, the main rain, this is the main part of the system, coming into northwest Georgia, 7 in the morning, pockets of moderate to heavy rain, thunder and lightning possible there. This will be some good heavy rain that's going to be coming down. So this is at 7 in the morning. And then look, as we get to noontime, this is the time frame, let's say mid-morning to around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when we're going to be dealing with most of this here for most of the metro area. Still pockets of moderate to heavy rain, still the potential for thunder and lightning, maybe a couple of isolated stronger storms there. But this is at noontime. And then by 5 o'clock, the back edge is already to the east of us. So things are going to start tapering off during those afternoon hours, and we'll see the threat diminishing through the afternoon, and it moves all over to the east of us. We start clearing out on Saturday night, and then on Sunday, that's when we see other big changes. Not with rain or not with storms or anything moving in, but this northwest flow, drier air moves in, the wind is going to kick up, the sunshine returns, but the warm air does not come back in. It is going to be cold on Sunday with highs only in the 40s. Then going into Monday morning, we're talking about lows in the 20s to start the day on Monday. and then highs only in the 40s here once again into those afternoon hours. So here's the 7-day outlook showing that 11 Alive weather impact alert that we have here for Saturday. 80% chance for showers. That's mainly early, but then late in the afternoon that starts tapering off. Then we go from 69 degrees to 48 degrees for a high temperature on Sunday. So dropping, 21 degrees there from Saturday afternoon to Sunday afternoon. Then falling even more, down to 29 Monday morning with a high of 49. Below freezing Tuesday at 31, but afternoon highs back up to 55. Then down to 35 Thursday with a high of 45, 27 on Friday. So another surge of colder air coming in, moving into the end of the week there, and just another low rain chance pushing in too. So we're going to take you back to the maps. I'll let you look at radar. We'll cycle those through for the next few minutes. I'm going to come back on in about 15 minutes here at 9 o'clock. I'll have another extended weather update for you as we're tracking those showers and thunder showers moving through. We're doing this not because this is like wall-to-wall weather coverage because of severe weather and big-time threats. We just know you're hungry for weather information as we're finishing up the weekend and going through the week, and we want to track it with you and make sure you understand what we're watching for tomorrow too. Not a big time severe weather event, but a low end severe weather possible, as well as that flood threat over parts of North Georgia. So I'll take you back to the maps right now and have another update for you coming up in just a little bit here at 9 o'clock, and then another one at 9:30, another one at 10, and of course our newscast coming up tonight at 11 o'clock. So thanks for watching this extended weather update. We'll have another one coming up in just less than 15 minutes. I'm Chief Meteorologist with you here on this Friday night. It is now 9 o'clock. We have been doing extended weather updates here on 11 Alive Plus as we are tracking this rain moving in. We're going to break down any type of storm risk that we might have or any flooding risk that parts of North and Northwest Georgia could have as well. Nothing is pending dangerous right now. We just want to walk you through the time frame of what to expect for the rest of the evening hours overnight and into tomorrow for the first part of the day, where we have the main part of the system that'll be moving through. That is the part that'll have the potential for some thunder and lightning, maybe some isolated stronger storms, and then also watching the flood risk for parts of North and also Northwest Georgia. Looking at radar right here now, you see a lot of green on here, which is generally the light rain that we've been dealing with. So far, most areas have had light rain, but what we're watching now, coming in from Alabama and into West Georgia, you'll notice these yellow colors here, and I'll put this into motion as they're coming in from Alabama. That's the more moderate rain that's coming in, and it's impacting a few more counties on the north side compared to the updates that I did with you tonight at 8 o'clock and also at 8:30. So some of you over on the west side are seeing a little more of those moderate showers that are moving in, and that's the yellow color that you see here. I want you to look at one thing. Earlier tonight we were showing you this that was coming out of Murray County, and notice how that moved to the north and east, and in Fannin and Gilmer County it started breaking up a little bit. We now have additional moderate rain here in Northwest Georgia, crossing over 75 there in parts of Gordon County, moving into Whitfield and also Murray County. That's some moderate rain there too. I'm going to show you more about this in West Georgia, but let me take you into Atlanta first. We have generally been dealing with the green color, the light rain here in Atlanta so far, but we've been tracking some of those more moderate showers over on the west side, and these are holding together, getting closer to Atlanta. In fact, these over in Cobb County, let me put this into live mode here for you. You get the general motion there and the direction that these showers are moving. They're going up toward the north and also to the east. So you have this in Cobb County along 75, Marietta there, and west of 75, where we have some of that more moderate rain. North Cobb, also into the southern parts of Cherokee County. North Fulton, a little bit of yellow with a couple of pockets there of moderate rain. Also back into Paulding County, Polk County, Haralson County, Carroll County, parts of Douglas County. We have some of that more moderate rain. Also, I want to take you back to this cell that we showed you a little while ago. That was one of those clusters of heavier rain that is moving through now parts of Heard County between right there at Central Hatchie. This is about to move into western Coweta County there into west of Noonan there and west of 85. So that's one lone heavier shower. We don't have any lightning with it though. So, again, just a good heavy shower that's moving through. Down a little bit more to the south, from Troup County and LaGrange, we have here in Meriwether County a couple of spots of red showing up here, especially this around Woodbury, where we have a heavier cell that's moving through there. Lamar County here, actually Pike County over at Hilltop, going into Lamar County at Barnesville, more moderate to heavy showers there too. So that is the trend of what we've been watching with some of these cells coming out of Alabama, where some of this moderate rain is holding together just a little bit more. Now, back into Alabama, you see Cleburne County and Randolph County, Alabama, and those are the counties that are in the Atlanta viewing area. That's why they're highlighted here just across the Georgia state line. They're getting some moderate rain, pockets of heavy rain down in the southern parts of Randolph, west of LaGrange, also near Alexander City. Now, as we go back more into Alabama, right along 65 near Verbena, north of Montgomery, heading back towards Selma and south of Demopolis and toward Thomasville, Alabama, we have a lot more lightning with this on the west side. That is also moving up to the north and east, but we think the trend, and this is what has been happening so far, a lot of the lightning that we've been seeing back into Alabama, as it moves up toward the north and east, a lot of the lightning starts falling apart. Still the rain comes in, and we still have moderate and even pockets of heavy rain, but we're not seeing as much lightning. The atmosphere over in Alabama is a little different. There's a little more instability there. There are a few more ingredients for these storms to work with to have some thunder and lightning, whereas our air is a little more stable. And I really think that even though you're seeing a lot of lightning over there west of Montgomery, the trend is that as that moves up to the north and east, a lot of that lightning starts to fall apart here just a little bit more. So Here is, again, a look over North Georgia. I'll put this back into motion. And just look at that trend there of the yellow that you see coming out of Alabama. Some of it holding together, but as it moves to the north and the east, we think that yellow or that more moderate rain is going to break up a little bit more. And that's probably going to be the trend with this out to the west of us too. There's that one lightning strike there south of Randolph County, south and west of Randolph County. And so we'll keep an eye on that to see if that holds together anymore moving in closer to West Georgia. We'll also keep an eye on those heavier cells down in parts of Meriwether County. With some of that heavier rain that continues to move on through. I want to show you a new development we have out a little bit more to the west. I'm going to change sources here so you can see the satellite and radar imagery. Notice that we've got that rain over us that stretches back into Alabama, but now going into Mississippi and Louisiana, we have a tornado watch. This was issued just a little while ago, so that's new compared to what we were showing you a little while ago. That tornado watch really along that line there, roughly along I-20, including Jackson, Mississippi, going over, including Alexandria, Louisiana. Look at that. We've got a tornado warning. We mentioned a couple of tornado warnings back in Louisiana a little bit earlier. There's another tornado warning there right along, sorry, I'm kind of moving that fast there, right along I-20. Monroe, Louisiana is right here. This is Winnsboro, Bastrop, Delhi. So that's in that area just south of I-20 over in Louisiana where we have a tornado warning that is happening there. So that just goes to show you that this system, especially in that area south of us over into Louisiana, Mississippi, and maybe even into parts of southern Alabama, where the atmosphere is a little bit more conducive for stronger storms to develop. And we see that going on here. We just don't think that that is going to happen once this moves into Georgia, especially for the late night hours tonight and also into the overnight hours here too. So this is what we're watching. You know, we have an 11 Alive weather impact alert that is in effect for our area through tomorrow afternoon. We have the rain that's over us now. We're watching for pockets of heavy rain. What we have to watch for, though, is with those pockets of heavy rain, which areas could potentially see some flooding here. We don't think it's going to be anything widespread, but there are going to be some spots, especially north and northwest Georgia, that will see some heavier rain where we could see some flooding there. That's where we have a flood watch in effect. We'll take a closer look at that in just a second. But also, I want you to see here where we have the potential for a few isolated stronger storms. Don't think that this is a widespread severe weather event or anything like that. This is a low-level severe weather threat, a level 1 of 5 risk, but there could be a few isolated stronger storms. So we want you to be weather aware. Make sure you have a way to get warnings. Download the 11 Alive app. You can check out radar there at any time. Zoom in to your area. You can also activate the alerts so that you would hear any type of warnings if any were issued here for those early morning hours tomorrow. Here's a look at the flood watch. We told you on our last couple of updates, but just in case you weren't watching here, a few counties have been added to the flood watch. Earlier, this was generally there along a line from Polk County, Bartow, Cherokee, Dawson, White and Lumpkin County, or Lumpkin and White County to the north. Well, the Weather Service has added in a few counties. It has added in Haralson, Paulding, and Cobb County to that flood watch. It's going to be in effect until Saturday afternoon into the evening hours. These areas that are highlighted in green are the areas that we think are going to see more rain than other folks, and that's why their flood risk is going to be a little bit higher. We may see some rain totals here in north and northwest Georgia. That'll be between 2 and 3 inches of rain, and any low-lying areas or flood-prone areas, that's what we'll have to watch first for, any water that can be collecting. Creeks and streams, maybe watch a few of those there that are easy to flood. But a lot of the creeks and streams are actually kind of low right now because we have been in these drought conditions. This is a live look over in Athens. Yeah, the classic city looking a little soggy there. We have clouds, we have some rain, generally light coming down, but the roads are wet. Right there at Broad Street at the entrance of the UGA campus, right there at the Arch and downtown, looking good there, even though it's soggy in Athens. I always love looking at a picture of Athens. Here's a live view of Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Of course, the Peach Bowl going on right now inside that huge facility. And visitors here from Indiana and Oregon are probably like, what is up with Georgia? What is up with Atlanta? I thought it was supposed to be pretty here. Well, yes, it is pretty, but we're just dealing with some soggy weather conditions. And speaking of pretty, we've got a beautiful skyline, but we have clouds. We have slightly lower visibility with some of the rain. This just looks like a pretty soggy view there from our tower cam there on Arizona Avenue. We think that the better chances for severe weather late tonight and overnight will be more to the south and west of us. Now, the yellow color that you see here, that's the level 2 risk. And that lines up with where we have the tornado watch. Remember, it was from Jackson over to near Monroe southward, and it did not go into Alabama. It's in that area where the likelihood is a little bit higher for any strong storms or maybe any tornadoes to develop. I don't know that they would extend that over into Alabama during the overnight hours, but we don't think that they would extend it over into Georgia because our air is a little more stable here. So we're not really concerned about a severe weather threat for us for the rest of the evening hours and really overnight. It's going to be early tomorrow when we see the main system push in, and that is going to have a risk for a few stronger storms with it for the morning hours on Saturday to mid-morning to around lunchtime. A little bit after lunch is that time frame where we're going to have to watch our area. So going into Saturday, we do have that level 1 risk. The level 2 risk covers more of Alabama and even comes into parts of West Georgia, Heard County, Troup County, parts of Coweta County, the far western parts of it, far west Meriwether County, also far southern Carroll County, in that level 2 risk. So a little better chance south and west of the city for some of those stronger storms. But the level 1 risk for the rest of us is not really anything widespread as far as severe weather, but there could be a couple of isolated stronger storms. And if any of those develop, the main threats would be those pockets of heavy rain and maybe some strong wind. The tornado risk is very low, but it's not zero. That's why we're mentioning it, but it is just very low. I'm not overly concerned about a big time tornado risk for us. And the hail risk is also on the low end. Temperatures, they're warm and they're going to stay warm. We're in the mid 60s right now. I'm thinking we'll hold in the low to mid 60s overnight. So it's not like it's going to get really cold or anything, but still plenty of warm air around here in our area. So over the next 12 hours, you can see these temperatures staying pretty uniform. Showers overnight, a little break, maybe 5, 6, 7 in the morning. And then as that main part comes in, getting into mid-morning, that's when we're going to see our better chance for rain. And this kind of times it out for you with our forecast track. The rain over North Georgia, around Metro Atlanta for tonight. And then overnight, we're going to get a break for a few hours before the main part comes in early on Saturday. And Northwest Georgia, at 7 o'clock in the morning, we'll be getting part of that heaviest rain. Northwest and far north Georgia, from Rome up toward Dalton, parts of Dade and Walker County, stretching over toward Gilmer, Fannin, Union, Towns County. That's where they're going to be seeing some of that heavy rain early in the morning. And then at lunchtime, that whole system moves closer to us and envelops Metro Atlanta. So let's say 10 to 2 on Saturday will be the time frame when Metro Atlanta will be feeling some of those pockets of heavy rain, maybe some rumbles of thunder and flashes of lightning, and potential for some wind gusts there with that too. After lunch, it's going to start tapering off as the system moves over toward the west. This is at 5 o'clock. And any heavy rain's already going to be gone. Just some light rain developing or holding together there over from Thomaston and Eatonton, even near Athens and over to the east of that area, is where we're going to see everything starting to move out. And then during the evening hours on Saturday, the clouds are going to start breaking up a little bit more. The wind is going to shift coming out of the north and west. And then Sunday, a few clouds to start in the morning, and then plenty of sunshine during the day on Sunday. But even with sunshine, it's not going to warm up. This northwest flow is going to usher in that really cold air that we'll be feeling here on Sunday. We go from 69 degrees for a high temperature on Saturday to 48 for a high on Sunday. Yeah, that's going to feel a lot colder. And then Monday morning, we go down into the 20s at about 29 degrees. So plenty of dry air coming in, but also plenty of cold air coming in. And we're going to be feeling that on Monday morning too, with those lows dipping down into the 20s. So here's a look there at what we're watching with the rain comparison with this system coming in. Models have been kind of varying a little bit. The European model going with about an inch here. The American model going with a little bit more than a half inch. Where the models agree is showing that those higher rainfall amounts are going to be in North Georgia. Canton maybe 2.7, Rome maybe 3.2, Dalton maybe 3.2. This model also showing North and Northwest Georgia where we have those heaviest rainfall amounts there. So that's why the flood watch is in effect for those areas to the north of us, and it does not include the metro area. I would love to see Atlanta picking up a little bit more than a ½ inch. Maybe we'll be closer to this 1.1 inch that the European model is saying. So hopefully that would be the case here, because we do need some rain, just not the flooding and just not any type of severe storms though. So here's the 7-day outlook, and you can see here what we're watching with the weather impact alert through the day on Saturday. We'll most likely allow this to expire 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. Then Sunday, those temperatures drop from 69 Saturday to 48 Sunday, 49 Monday, but that's after the morning low of 29 on Monday. 31 Tuesday, so we'll be below freezing on Tuesday, but maybe just holding in the 30s rather than the 20s. Back to the mid-50s here Tuesday and Wednesday with mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. Another system comes in midweek with some colder air, 45 for the high, 30% chance for some showers, down to 27 on Friday, and then highs up to 48 with those mostly sunny skies. So a lot to watch here over the next, let's say, 18 to 24 hours as this rain moves through, with that risk for some thunderstorms, as well as the risk for some of the heavier rain in northwest Georgia with some isolated flooding that could happen. So we're going to have another update for you less than 15 minutes here at 9:30, and then another one at 10 o'clock. And then, of course, our newscast coming up tonight at 11 o'clock, just keeping you up to date on the progression of this rain and any storm threats or any changes that we're going to get in on the models. We'll have a new model that comes in before 11 o'clock for you, so we'll have that for you a little bit later on as well. So thanks for watching this extended weather update here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. Another one coming up for you at 9:30. In the meantime, we're going to leave the maps up for you so you can keep a look and keep an eye on radar and watch those showers as they're moving our way, and take a look at the forecast track maps too. And then I'll be back at 9:30 to talk to you about it a little bit more as we track them for you live. And once again, good evening to you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. It's 9:30 now on Friday evening. We have been doing these extended weather updates for you. Did one at 8, 8:30, 9, now again at 9:30. As we're just walking you through tracking these showers that are pushing through our area tonight, we have the potential for a little bit of thunder and lightning. So far, we haven't seen any of that in Georgia, but we're watching the lightning back in Alabama, and some of that is getting a little bit closer here to the Georgia line. We'll take a closer look at that for you coming up in just a second. But first, let me show you what we're watching here around Metro Atlanta and North Georgia. And the trend that I want you to notice is earlier it was a lot of green, which is the light rain. Now we're beginning to see a little bit more of the yellow and some orange that is mixing in, which is indicating a few more pockets of the moderate rain. But again, still not anything severe, not anything crazy, just some light to moderate rain pushing in. It's a good rain, good soaking rain that we need with these drought conditions that we have here. In Atlanta, it has mainly been light, but we've got a little bit there of the yellow color in parts of North Fulton, Cobb County, Douglas County. We'll take a closer look at that in a minute. North Georgia has been getting rain longer than we have here in Atlanta. The rain started there earlier as it's been moving in from the northwest to the south and east, and now it's over us, and these individual cells within this are moving up toward the north and the east. Now watch this trend where you see a couple of hours ago that large area of yellow and orange back in Alabama where we had the moderate rain. As that moves up toward the north and east, some of the yellow and orange holds together, but it's not as impressive as it was earlier back into Alabama. That has been the other trend that we've been watching. As this moves in from Alabama and into Georgia, it's hitting an environment that's a little more stable. And so we're seeing the heavier rain that was over in Alabama start to break up a little bit more. Still holding together some of the moderate rain, but just not like the large coverage that they had back into Alabama. So some yellow still holding together there, and even a little bit of red. So let me take you in closer here to Atlanta. And you can see here what we're watching with mainly green or the light rain over us. But there you see a couple little yellow spots here. As I mentioned, Cobb County, Southern Cherokee, North Fulton County, moving into Forsyth County. Some of this over to the west. Now, I'm going to put this into live mode and show you here this over south of Carrollton and south of Fairplay. There is a bit of heavier rain. This red that you see here around Whitesburg, that is about to move into South Fulton near Chattahoochee Hills, north of Noonan. All right, so that's the heaviest rain that we have out there right now. In Carroll County, about to move into parts of South Fulton there and parts of Coweta County, the northern parts of Coweta County. That's the heaviest shower that we have. Also back into Rupeville, West Georgia, seeing a little bit more of that. Down to the south of us, you see some of that red where near Griffin and south of Griffin and Spalding County. Some heavy rain falling there. Over into parts of Pike County near Concord, also in Meriwether County, some of the red there, just individual cells there with those pockets of heavier rain. So there is a wide range of who's getting light rain, who's getting moderate rain, and who's getting some of those pockets of heavier rain. Now let me take you over into Alabama. Cleburne and Randolph County, here in Alabama along I-20 and south of I-20, you've been getting in on a little bit more of the moderate and even pockets of heavy rain, and some of that extending over into Carroll County like what we're seeing now, Heard County. We had some in Troup County earlier, but now more is on the way. The closest lightning strike to us is this one right here to the west of Milltown and just to the west of the southwestern corner of Randolph County. And that's where we've been seeing some lightning there near Alexander City, going back to between Alexander City and Wetumpka. But we've been seeing some lightning there. That's not anything new. But what we've been watching is that as this moves into Randolph and into West Georgia, the lightning starts to go away with it. And we think that trend will continue as well. In fact, there's even more lightning back north of Montgomery and west of Montgomery, between Montgomery and Selma here, some near and north of Thomasville, south of Demopolis. Now that's Thomasville, Alabama, not Thomasville, Georgia, where we see some of this lightning there, north of Montgomery, as we mentioned, over toward Alexander City. So we really think that trend is going to continue as this moves in closer to Georgia, that we'll see the lightning start to disappear a little bit more. Now, it's not out of the question For the next few hours, we could hear some rumbles of thunder and see some flashes of lightning, especially over into West Georgia. But that's been the trend, that a lot of this has been weakening as it gets closer to us. So really just enjoy this good rain, because it's much needed rain coming in. I'm not overly concerned about a severe weather threat overnight. Again, maybe some rumbles of thunder and flashes of lightning, but any severe weather threat that we have is still going to be a low level threat, and that's mainly going to be for the first part of the day on Saturday. From early morning in northwest Georgia to mid-morning here in metro Atlanta until about after lunch, and then everything starts to move away late afternoon as it pushes on over to the east. And that still is going to be just a low level severe weather risk. I also want to show you, I'm going to change sources here. We'll look at our SatRad that shows the satellite data and the radar. A couple things I want to point out here. We're tracking the rain over us now and the rain that is on the way stretching back through Alabama, but there's a lot more of this back into Louisiana, Mississippi and Louisiana too. And then I showed you this at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock. The new development that we had that we didn't talk about at 8 and 8:30 was before 9 o'clock. The Storm Prediction Center and National Weather Service issued a tornado watch for parts of Louisiana and also into Mississippi. That is the area where the environment's a little bit more conducive for some severe weather to develop and maybe even some rotation. We did have a tornado warning, a couple of those earlier over near Monroe, Louisiana, along I-20. Right now it's a severe thunderstorm warning, that yellow polygon you see there. But earlier, it was exhibiting some signs of rotation, but we don't have any tornado warnings there. And really, that's the only warning that we have over into Mississippi. We don't have any warnings in Alabama, and we don't have any warnings here in Georgia too. But this just goes to show you the whole complex of the system with all the rain and the storms, where the strongest of it is down to the south and also to the west of us. And we're just getting general rain now, and we're thinking that's going to be the main threat during the overnight hours. General rain, maybe a thunder shower here and there, but we're not really overly concerned about a severe weather threat. And you do know we have an 11 Alive weather impact alert in effect. It's in effect now. It'll be in effect through the daytime hours tomorrow. We'll most likely bring this down or let this expire 3, 4 in the afternoon, depending on that back edge of the rain that's going to be moving through here. And then Saturday evening, we're going to see some improving weather that'll continue to push on through. Here's a good look at this kind of full there. So through Saturday afternoon, we have this threat for some heavy rain and the potential for a few thunderstorms. Again, the severe weather risk is going to be on the low end. So we just want you to stay weather aware as we're going to keep an eye on these showers and storms. We want you to have a way to do that too. I'm doing these extended updates, another one coming up at 10 o'clock tonight, and then our newscast at 11 o'clock. Nicole Hartford is going to be doing extended, numerous streaming updates here early tomorrow morning, I believe at 6, 7, 8 o'clock before our newscast from 8:30 to 10:30, and then additional streaming updates after that too. Danielle Moss is coming in early to relieve her of that, and she'll continue some into the afternoon as needed here. So just stay weather aware. Also, be sure to download the 11 Alive Weather app to make sure you can look at radar at any time, and also activate the alerts there, enable those alerts so that you can get any of the warnings that would come through on your phone. The only advisory or watch that we have out there right now is a flood watch for much of north and northwest Georgia. Generally north of I-20 is where we have this watch in effect. The Weather Service added a couple of counties to it, actually a few. They added Haralson County, Paulding County, and Cobb County to this watch, and that goes up to Cherokee County, Dawson, Lumpkin, and White County. That line to the north and west, all those counties that you see in green, is where we have this flood watch. Now, rainfall amounts in north and northwest Georgia are going to be higher than what we're having here. All the models have been in agreement on those highest rainfall amounts. We're talking 2 to 3 inches possible, maybe even some isolated areas up to 4 inches of rain. So that would be enough rain between now and tomorrow afternoon that any flood-prone area, low-lying areas that tend to collect water, those are the areas that we'll need to watch maybe for some isolated flooding. We don't think this is going to be a widespread flood event or anything like that, but just be aware of the potential for some of that flooding to take place. Here's a live look in Athens, Classic City, looking a little soggy there, with not only looking in the sky, seeing those clouds and some of that light rain coming down, but you can see on the road there on Broad Street where it is wet. A few folks walking around, maybe not with umbrellas there. but that doesn't surprise me in downtown Athens on a Friday night that folks will be walking around without any umbrellas. Live view at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Peach Bowl going on inside that structure right now. Having a good time. I checked on the score. Indiana was winning, beating Oregon. That was at halftime. They're probably getting underway the third quarter right now. So exciting game down there at the Benz. And then our view from Arizona Avenue. This is always a beautiful view, great look at the skyline, but tonight it's shrouded with a little bit of rain, light rain, slightly lower visibility, but still our city's also beautiful, whether it's clear or whether it's raining. So I'm not overly concerned about a severe weather threat during the overnight hours. I really think any severe storms would be in parts of central and southern Mississippi, Louisiana, where we have that tornado watch right now, possibly over into central Alabama during the overnight hours. But for Georgia, the level 1 risk just comes close to us there. It includes Cleburne and Randolph counties, tries to get in just over the line a little bit. But again, I'm not overly concerned about that. And again, this Storm Prediction Center convective outlook, where it says Friday there, it really includes the overnight hours up to 7 o'clock in the morning. So I'm thinking we're going to be fine overnight. Some rain coming through, rumbles of thunder and flashes of lightning, but I don't expect anything severe. It's going to be when the main part of this system comes in through the morning hours on Saturday up to around lunchtime and after, when we're going to see the potential for some pockets of heavy rain and maybe some thunder and lightning, and the low-level risk for some isolated storms. The level 2 risk is back into Alabama. It does come into West Georgia, in southern Carroll, parts of Heard and Troup County, a little bit of Coweta County, a little bit of Meriwether County in that level 2 risk, meaning the chances a little bit higher south and west of the city for a few of those stronger storms that could develop. And then the rest of us are in a level 1 risk, where any strong storms would be fewer, maybe a couple of isolated stronger storms. And the main threats we're going to be watching will be the potential for heavy rain is moderate, the potential for some strong winds is moderate, tornado risk is very low but not zero. Again, a low risk for maybe an isolated spin up, not a crazy long track tornado that's going to be an EF3, 4, or 5 or anything like that, but maybe some isolated brief spin up tornado could develop, but that chance is very low. Also, the hail risk is also very low too. So here's a look at the temperature. Still mild. It's going to stay mild through the overnight hours. I don't think our temperatures will drop that much more overnight. We'll be around the lower 60s to mid 60s here. In fact, you can see that over the next 12 hours. 65 through 4 a.m., maybe 63 at 6, 64 at 8, back to 66 at 10. When that next part of the main system comes in, you can see at 10 o'clock there, that chance for more of those pockets of heavy rain and maybe some thunder and lightning. So here's the forecast track with that heavier rain over to the north of us right now. Some breaks overnight. In the morning at 7 o'clock, should be dry here, but we'll be watching this coming through and into northwest Georgia. And then here's that line approaching Metro Atlanta at around lunchtime. This is an updated model compared to what I just showed you 15 minutes ago or 30 minutes ago. An updated model here showing, again, pockets of moderate to heavy rain at just before lunchtime, sweeping through by 5 o'clock. That's all out of here. And we'll watch that line passing through our area. That's the part that we have to watch for any potential for strong storms. That would be 10 in the morning to about 2 or 3 in the afternoon to have that threat, going from west to east here. And then moving away. And by 5 o'clock, it's pretty much going to be over. During the evening, we start clearing out. Then on Sunday, we'll be clearing out. The sunshine returns, but you would think with sunshine it would get warm again. That's not the case at all. Look at this northwest flow, those arrows coming out of the northwest. That's going to push in a surge of really cold air. We're going to go from 69 degrees here on Saturday to 48 degrees for a high on Sunday. Then Monday morning, we're down to 29 degrees. So that's going to be a big shock to the system after you've been used to this warm air, wearing short sleeve shirts, shorts, flip-flops around. You got to get the coat again because it's going to be so cold here on Sunday, and that's going to be really cold into Monday too. We're talking about 29 degrees Monday morning with highs only in the 40s again for the afternoon hours. So here's a look at the rain comparison. Models agreeing on north and northwest Georgia seeing those highest amounts, 2, 3, maybe some isolated areas around 4 inches. The European is saying that Atlanta will get an inch, but the American is saying about a ½ inch. I hope the European is right. I would love for us to get about an inch of rain, but then those lighter amounts on the south side. So that's what we're watching with those potential rainfall amounts. So there you see the weather impact alert that remains in effect here for Saturday Then it gets cold on Sunday. After that rain and the storm risk moves out, the northwest wind comes in, getting really cold here. 40s for a high on Sunday, down to 29 Monday, 49 Monday afternoon, 31 Tuesday morning, so below freezing, with highs near 55. 55 again Wednesday. Then another cold surge comes in Thursday. A little moisture with that, giving us a 30% chance for a shower. And then 27 Friday morning, with highs up to about 48 in the afternoon with those mostly sunny skies. So another update for you coming up in a little bit less than 15 minutes at 10 o'clock. We'll walk you through the progression of this rain moving through and any additional updates. And then, of course, we'll have another update for you coming up tonight at 11 o'clock on 11 Alive News. Thanks for tuning in. Know that Nicole Hartford's going to be here tomorrow morning. She'll have extended updates as those showers and storms are moving through too. At 6, 7, 8 in the morning here streaming, and then 8:30 until 10:30 on 11 Alive News with our newscast, and then additional updates after that too. So stay with us right here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. What was it? Oh, seriously, thank you. Oh, thank you. No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, that might be tomorrow, not overnight.
Okay.
Just we're watching, tracking rain and storms and the threats and what threats it'll have. Good evening, I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team, back with you here at the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. We have been doing updates, extended weather updates for you throughout the evening here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. We did one at 8, 8:30, 9, 9:30, now here at 10 o'clock tonight. And each time I've been coming on, we've been seeing the rain progressively moving in from the west to the east, and we're seeing more pockets of not just light rain, but more pockets of moderate rain, even a little bit of heavy rain in spots. That heaviest rain is more down to the south of us. We've got a couple of other pockets up in North Georgia, Northwest Georgia, up around Rome, and in Chattooga County, where we have a couple of areas of heavier rain. But this is a look at it. A lot of green, which is the light rain, but you see within that some yellow and orange, which is the moderate, and then a couple of pockets of red, especially here on the south side in Henry County, southern parts of Clayton County, Fayette County, Spalding County, into areas of here in parts of Henry County or Newnan, we have some of those heavier showers too. And then back into Cleburne and Randolph County, more of these heavier showers that are moving in as well. We'll put this into motion. The general motion has been the individual cells within this moving up toward the north and east, but the entire rain shield trying to shift a little bit more down to the south. Earlier, it was roughly along the I-85 corridor to the north and west, but now we're seeing a few other showers there to the east of the I-85 corridor and to the southeast of that too. And that's where we have some of that heavier rain around. The good news about this is it is a good soaking rain. There's nothing severe with this. We haven't had any reports of any wind with it. We don't even have any lightning here in Georgia. We have had some lightning back into Alabama, but the trend with that is that the lightning weakens somewhat and kind of goes away as it gets closer to us here in Georgia. Here's a look at what I'm talking about. Look back when at the beginning of this loop from 2 hours ago, we had more lightning here south and west of Randolph County, and it made it look like it was coming in. We actually did have a couple of lightning strikes in the southern parts of Randolph County in Alabama, but as that moved into Georgia, we haven't seen any lightning with it. Now we'll keep an eye on this crossing the line, coming in here right there in parts of Heard County and Carroll County. You've got a couple of heavier showers there, also down into parts of Troup County near LaGrange. But the lightning so far has been more to the west. And what's happening is, and from the trends that we're seeing, that as this comes in from Alabama, the atmosphere there is a little different. They're a little more unstable based on what we're seeing within our modeling there and the layers of the atmosphere. We're a little more stable here, and that's why a lot of that lightning is breaking up as it moves in. It's just moving into a more stable environment. These storms are not growing as much. They're actually kind of trying to weaken a little bit as they move in. But again, still some good spots with some heavy rain coming in. Let's look closer at these on the south side. Let's put it into live mode, and you can see what I'm talking about there along 75 South. So Atlanta's right up here, 75 South, down into Henry County. Just to the east of 75 around McDonough, that's where we have more of that moderate and even some heavy rain. That's pushing up closer to Newton County and Rockdale County if this even holds together with the heavy rain. We know at least there'll be some light to moderate rain coming into Rockdale and Newton, but not necessarily the heavy rain holding together. Also in the western parts of Henry, southern parts of Clayton, other areas of heavy rain. This in Fayette County, also Spalding County, and into parts of Coweta County, some of those pockets of heavier rain moving through there. Also moving up toward the north and also to the east here. So additional rain is going to continue to move on through. Let me take you back, though, a little bit more into Alabama, where earlier, and I'll put this into motion here, we were seeing a little bit more lightning north of Montgomery. We still have some of that near Verbena. We had some around Alexander City, but now not as much going on at Alexander City. So the trend is, as this moves up to the north and east, it starts to weaken a little bit. Still a couple of lightning strikes back towards Selma and back into areas of Thomasville, Alabama, looking a little more impressive there. But remember, the atmosphere is more conducive there, where it's a little bit more unstable for some of those showers to hold on to some lightning. Here in Atlanta, we had a lot of light rain earlier, but now we're getting a little bit more of the moderate rain mixing in. Some of this in North DeKalb there between Chamblee and Dorville, Dunwoody area, some moderate rain moving through near Spaghetti Junction. Here over the city, a little bit of moderate rain. More of this moderate to heavy near Douglasville along I-20 in Douglas County. Moderate back toward Carrollton between Bremen and Carrollton too. So just be thankful for a nice, good soaking rain, because we need that. And that's what we'll have for the next few hours before we get a break overnight. And then during the day tomorrow, the main system with the front moves in. And that's when we're really going to be dealing with that potential for a low-risk, isolated, low-risk severe storm possibly that could come in. Also keeping an eye on north and northwest Georgia, where we could see some flooding taking place there in those areas, because that's where we're going to see some of those highest rainfall amounts as that train of moisture keeps moving over those same areas, dumping a lot of rain in. Now, we're also watching this tornado watch that includes parts of Louisiana and Mississippi. We had a tornado warning earlier near Monroe, Louisiana. Now we have a severe thunderstorm warning there just north of I-20 there, which is to the west of Jackson. No additional tornado warnings have been issued. We're going to watch Mississippi, and we'll also keep an eye on South Alabama to see if they're going to move that watch over. At this point, I just don't think they will. Again, we're seeing some good showers and storms there with thunder and lightning, but no severe thunderstorm warnings there. So that's a good sign, especially as we go through those overnight hours. And I'm not overly concerned about a severe weather risk here overnight. It's going to be morning hours tomorrow to mid-morning to after lunch. And then we'll see that severe weather threat go away after that, after the system moves on through. So the thing I want you to see, though, with this, even though we don't think we'll have severe weather overnight, we're going to see more of this moisture that is going to be feeding through our area with some more of that off and on rain that we're going to be dealing with. So here is what we're watching going through those overnight hours. We continue with the 11 Alive weather impact alert that is in effect here going through the overnight hours through tomorrow. We most likely will drop this maybe 3, 4, 5 in the afternoon tomorrow once that heaviest part of the rain continues to move on through and exit our area, and then we start to dry out somewhat. So right now we're tracking the rain. We're tracking those storms back in Alabama. Again, we don't think they'll really make it here, but something to watch. And then that low level risk for some isolated stronger storms tomorrow when the main front moves through. The rain is arriving now. It has been pushing through. We have that storm risk tomorrow. It is a low level risk here. And then watching those pockets of heavy rain, the potential for some flooding in spots. I really think that potential is going to be higher up in parts of north and northwest Georgia and in parts of west Georgia too. We've got a flood watch in effect. It includes Cleburne and Randolph County in Alabama, and now Haralson County, Paulding County, and Cobb County are included in this watch. And then, of course, up into Bartow County, Dawson, Lumpkin, and White counties northward. That's where we have this flood watch in effect. These are the areas that are going to be favored for some higher rainfall amounts. We're talking 2 to 3 inches of rain, maybe some isolated areas that could get up to around 4 inches of rain. So that's why we're watching these areas. We think those highest amounts will be up to the north and also to the west of us. Lower amounts on the south side and also to the east. That's why the city itself is not included in a flood watch, and those areas to the east and south, because we just don't think the rainfall amounts there are going to be as impressive. Here's a look at Floyd County and Rome. Low clouds. You can see the roads are wet. Flags aren't really moving that much here. Just some light rain, some pockets at times of moderate to heavy rain coming in. And then this is our view right now at Georgia 400 and 285 there at Northside Hospital. We're looking northward up Georgia 400. You can see the King and Queen building there, the different colors at the top of those buildings. We have the rain coming down there right now. 400 is wet, 285 is wet. That parking lot that you see there at the bottom is wet. And then visibility here from our tower cam there at Arizona Avenue on the DeKalb-Fulton County line looking westward toward the city. You can see some of those clouds and some of the moisture, some of the light rain that we have here pushing on through. Now this is why we think the severe weather threat is going to stay to the west of us. Storm Prediction Center has that level 2 risk in Louisiana and Mississippi where they have that tornado watch, but that does extend over into Alabama. But the level 1 risk is for the rest of Alabama and just pretty much stops right at the Georgia line, maybe overlapping there just a little bit for parts of Carroll County, Heard, and Troup counties. But I really think the severe weather threat overnight is going to stay to the west of us. It's going to be during the day tomorrow where we're watching the main line that's going to be moving through during the morning hours, mid-morning, to around lunchtime and a little bit after lunchtime here for the metro Atlanta area. And then it exits and moves out and things will improve later in the day, but then the cold air comes in. But we're in the level 1 risk here. Level 2 risk does include parts of West Georgia into southern Carroll, far western Coweta, western Meriwether. It covers up parts of Harris County, Muskogee County near Columbus, but then here in our area, Troup County and Heard County. Chances there are a little bit higher that you might see an isolated or scattered strong thunderstorm there. Any severe weather here would be isolated, and again, this is a low risk severe threat. If we see any stronger storms, the main threat would be moderate risk for some heavy rain as well as strong winds, very low tornado risk, and also a very low hail risk as the system moves through. It's still warm out there. Temperatures holding in the mid-60s. We're not going to see them dropping that much more overnight. Generally lower to mid-60s here to start early tomorrow morning. We do have 59 in Gainesville now, Blairsville, Clayton in the 50s, but everybody else is in the 60s, and we're pretty much going to be staying there for the next 12 hours. You see that maybe dropping to 63 by 7 in the morning. A little break in the rain at times overnight, but then in the early morning hours through mid-morning, that's when those rain chances are going to come up, and we'll be watching for that potential for a few storms around. Here we go tonight. This model has updated since the one that I was showing you at 8 and 9 o'clock. It's updated now, showing still not any major changes, but that main coverage now in North Georgia. We're going to have some dry hours overnight where we have a break before this main part comes in to northwest Georgia around 7 o'clock in the morning, stretching back into Alabama toward Birmingham. And southerly flow keeping us mild here. And then there's that line coming in around noontime. I'm going to step out here because I want to show you, I want to kind of walk through this a little slower so you can see here what we're watching. So this is at noon where you see that line moving through from Clayton through Gainesville down toward Marietta and Carrollton. All right, now I'm going to show you this, kind of advance this just a little bit slower. As you see this coming through Atlanta, okay, let me take you back here. This is at 1 o'clock, okay, an hour later through Atlanta, and it's just a thin line moving through. This is at 2 o'clock, 2:30. Some of those showers to the west of us, or to the east of us, moving away. Here we go at 4, where we have, again, most of that heavier rain already leaving. And then by 5 o'clock, a lot of that is to the east of us and moving out. A couple of lingering showers left behind, but nothing really major here. So really it's the morning hours, mid-morning, lunchtime, and after when we have to watch the main action here with this system passing through. And then as it moves away, we'll start clearing out Saturday night into Sunday. We're going to have more sunshine, but that sun is not going to warm us up. We have a sharp northwest flow ushering in some really cold air. We're going to see temperatures only in the 40s. High temperatures on Sunday, about 48 degrees, compared to today when we were at 70. Tomorrow will be about 69. Then we'll be about 21 degrees colder in the afternoon on Sunday at 48, 49 degrees. And then Monday morning, we're down to 29. So that's going to be a big shock to your system as this cold air comes in. Sunday afternoon, sunshine, northwesterly flow, making it really cold out there. And then Monday morning, really cold in the 20s before we go back up into the 50s here for your Monday afternoon. So here's a look at the rain comparison. The models have really been having a hard time with this system. They have not been in agreement. They're trying to come together a little bit more. One area where they're in agreement is that both of the models are showing the heaviest rainfall amounts in north and northwest Georgia. That's why they have the flood watch there. The American model is only showing about a ½ inch, maybe a little bit more than a ½ inch here in Atlanta, whereas the European model, well, that was 1 inch, over an inch earlier. It's now showing 0.7. So it just all depends on where that cutoff is for those areas of heavier rain to determine, of course, how much rain we're going to get. But we do think heaviest amounts north and northwest, lighter amounts on the south side, and in Atlanta we're kind of stuck in the middle there, maybe a ½ inch, maybe an inch in some spots. Then we watch the cold air return. So it's going to be mild again here tomorrow. It has been mild for the past few days. Look at that colder air. It's going to sweep in here on Sunday, diving in, keeping us cold on Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday we go up a little bit into the mid-50s, but still cool. Then another surge of cold air is going to dive down for Thursday and Friday, bringing those temperatures back to the 40s. That cold surge may be accompanied by a little bit of moisture and low rain chance here going into your Thursday afternoon, and then really cold drying out here for your Friday. So here's a look at your 7-day outlook where we're going to be watching those conditions here. That will be warm on Saturday at 69 degrees, and then 48 on Sunday. Now that rain's going to be ending in the afternoon hours on Saturday, clearing out late Saturday into Sunday, more sunshine. And then 29 Monday morning with a high of 49, 31 Tuesday morning with a high of 55, 55 again Wednesday, and then another cold surge on Thursday, a few showers with that possible, and then highs only near 45, down to 27 Friday, back up to 48 in the afternoon with mostly sunny skies. So a lot of times we see warm air and then a little bit of cold air and then it gets warm, it's warm again. This time the cooler air is going to be sticking with us for a while. All week long it's going to be feeling more like wintertime out there. And with those temperatures around 55 degrees, that's going to be closer to where we should be for this time of year. We should be seeing highs around 53, 54 degrees for this time of year. Otherwise, Sunday, Monday, and also Thursday and Friday, it's going to be below average. So thanks for watching us. We've been doing a lot of these extended weather updates for you here throughout the evening on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. We're going to take a break, keep the maps up for a while. We've got to kind of break up just for a minute so we can get ready for the 11 o'clock newscast tonight. We'll have that for you coming up tonight at 11 o'clock. And just be aware, tomorrow morning, if you're hungry for weather information, Nicole Hartford, meteorologist Nicole Hartford, is going to be doing extended weather updates early in the morning, at least 6, 7, and 8. She may be doing some at the bottom of the hour too. Then our newscast from 8:30 to 10:30, and then additional extended weather updates after that too, until the system passes on through. Danielle Moss is coming in early. I'll come in if needed. I'll be on standby here tomorrow, just kind of monitoring everything from home. So thanks for watching us throughout the evening hours tonight. Join us again coming up tonight at 11 o'clock on 11 Alive News here on Weather Impact 24/7 and on 11 Alive Plus. Hope you have a great night. We'll see you at 11.